Hey everyone, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. So we are back today with the Radiance. In the last one we had the Festival of Embers and we had a moment with Arian. So we should be kind of nearing the final 4 weeks or so of our training period. So we're getting close. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. What should I do today? This is the weekend bit. Alright, let's check our business. Again, there's no real time to add anything else. We did get some academic because we picked mind as a whole general category. But overall, that's not going to help us. Quickness might be good because it's a little on the low side. Quickness and composure, maybe. They're a little on the low side. That's logic, charm, control, demerits. Okay. Class building. Quickness. Okay, let's do that one. I spend my afternoon in the spring courtyard for a nice jog. I feel refreshed and energized and ready to take on the world. Okay, so we want to do composure today. Maybe I think that's in winter. Endurance, composure. Okay. I spend the afternoon exploring the darkened corridors of the Forbidden Wing. It's just as unnerving as it was the first time. However, I feel kind of proud I managed to keep my cool. Okay. Week 9. Time to choose this week's electives. Okay. Okay, so we do want astrology again. We never did that. We haven't really done force either, so... I mean, it's basically the same stuff we always do. Calligraphy and symbology. Those are the ones we always do, but that's what we've been working on, so... Okay, time for today's elective. We continue to learn more about how to interpret a birth chart in order to gain insights into a person's character, tendencies, and life path. Okay. That's good. Time for today's elective. There are 16 unique figures in geomancy, and today we learned all about their meanings, including their astrological and elemental correspondences. Plus, we discuss how to recognize patterns and relationships between the figures in the geomantic chart. With my second council meeting looming, I decide to do some proper studying, in the main library this time. Unlike the old library, the books are all neatly arranged on the shelves according to their category: history of magic, politics, linguistics, and so on. I pull out a few random books from the government section and nestle into a secluded corner, books piled around me. But as I read over pages and pages of surprisingly mundane history of the Radiant Council, my eyes begin to droop. I'm not sure how many moments have passed, but when I open my eyes again, the library is eerily quiet. I look around, noticing that the library is now empty, and the main lights have been switched off, leaving only the dim lighting of the wall sconces. How long have I been asleep? Didn't anyone notice I was here? I start to rise slowly, then freeze at the sound of breathing approaching from behind me. I spin around. There's nothing there, but this feeling is all too familiar. I've heard that sound before, in the hallways of the old wing. That sound belongs to the mysterious shadow, and I don't plan to stick around to see it again. I spin around again, ready to make a run towards the exit. However, as I move, I catch sight of something new, a flicker of movement in one of the nearby bookshelves. I stare, heart thumping loudly in my chest, as I realize what I'm seeing. A shadowy figure stands in the darkness. Any discernible features it might have been hidden by the shadows cast in the dim light. It's definitely the same thing I saw in the old wing, a shadow in the shape of a person. I feel suddenly cold and my stomach muscles tighten up, preparing for the worst. I can't let it attack me again, but if I run, will it chase me down? My heart is pounding so loud I can hear the blood rushing through my ears. I take a deep breath and close my eyes, trying to get myself under control. I need to think clearly. Who are you? What do you want? The shadow doesn't answer, it just stands there in the dark, watching me. I look around again, but no one else is in the library. I need to run, it's the only option. I take a step, ready to bolt out the door when the shadow comes forward. I'm completely unprepared for what happens next. It moves into me. I stumble backward, feeling a heavy weight on me. But this thing isn't solid. This weight is inside me. My air feels constricted, like it's being pulled out of my body. I can't breathe. I thrash my arms wildly, but they pass straight through the shadow creature. My vision begins to darken. Oh God, I'm going to pass out right here. Then, the hold on me ceases abruptly, and I gasp desperately, choking on the sudden rush of air into my lungs. The shadow creature turns towards the door I was so close to escaping through. The shadow is gone in an instant, flickering out of sight. I sit there dazed, my brain still spinning, trying to make sense of what just happened. I feel weak and shaky, like I could faint at any moment. And then, I do. My surroundings are unfamiliar as I open my eyes. This is not my room. The last thing I remember was the dark shape looming above me, the air leaving my lungs. Then, I don't remember anything else. Oh, you're awake. The unfamiliar voice jolts me upright, and panic rises in my throat. No, don't move. You need time to rest. My vision clears a bit, and I see an unfamiliar figure in front of me, dressed in a fancy blue robe. I'm Healer Groves. I've been looking after you. The librarian brought you in last night, but you were out cold. What happened to me? Well, you passed out. Luckily, you don't have a concussion. I was attacked. Someone tried to choke me. Oh, do you know who it was? No, yes, but it was a shadow. Well, don't you worry about all that now. Just rest. The headmaster will be in shortly to check in with you. Oh, wait, there he is now. Welcome, Professor. Thank you, Healer Groves. I'd like a moment to talk with Miss Ash, if you don't mind. The healer bows and exits the room. Professor Balin pulls up a chair beside my bed. His face is stricken, not the usual calm expression I'm used to seeing. Miss Ash, I'm so sorry this happened. It's not your fault. But it is. As headmaster, it is my job to keep my students safe. I promised you that no harm would come to you, and I have been unable to keep that promise. You did not see the person who attacked you, right? It was the shadow thing, same as that time I ran into you in the hallway. Was it corporeal? Were you able to touch it? I think for a moment. It was certainly able to touch me, enough that it could choke me anyways. But I also remember my hands going straight through it when I tried to fend it off. No, it wasn't solid, but it still managed to push me down and strangle me. That is worrisome. Unfortunately, he's not able to elaborate because the healer enters the room again. It's time for your next dose of valerian. What's that? It's just an herb. It will help with the pain and allow you to sleep. He gives me a small cup of thick liquid. I expect it to taste awful, but it tastes kind of sweet, like honey. Excellent. I'll be back to check up on you soon. I suppose that's my cue to take my leave as well. You still need your rest. You'll be able to receive visitors tomorrow, most likely. I don't want him to go. I want to know what he knows about the shadow creature. I'm about to tell him as much when a woman enters the room. Another teacher, presumably. Professor Balin, when you have a moment. Professor Balin nods curtly towards the woman at the door, then turns back to me. I'm afraid I must step away, but please get some rest, Miss Ash. My eyes are already drifting closed. The pain meds seem to be taking effect awfully fast. Then I hear a flurry of hurried whispers coming from the room's entrance. My eyes remain closed, but my ears are straining to hear the conversation happening on the other side of the room. Professor Balin is whispering intently with one of the other teachers, not one I recognize. Most likely a shade. That means, yes, someone is controlling it with dark magic. Have you news on the boy? Yes, he has been found. We've placed him in a confined space for the time being. That is good news. We shall keep him there until the council can send someone. Make sure he is comfortable. They're talking about Dex. Professor Balin had told me they were planning to let the authorities question him once they found him. Yes, sir. Do you think he will attempt to contact his family? Unlikely. His parents haven't been seen or heard from since they joined the Sullen years ago. I don't think even he knows where they are. Are we certain he doesn't practice their dark magic? Once I was certain, but recent events have put that into question. To my disappointment, the headmaster and teacher leave the room, cutting my eavesdropping session short. But I'd heard plenty. Dex had been captured, his parents are Sullen, and he might know dark magic. I don't get a chance to ruminate on this new information for long, as my medication is finally taken over and I drift into a deep sleep. The next morning, Healer Groves greets me with a broad smile. You're cleared to go, Miss Ash, but I recommend spending the day resting in your room. No classes, no physical activity. I nod sleepily. I do feel mostly okay now, save for some soreness in my throat. But more importantly, Professor Balin has found Dex and is keeping him locked away. That means I'm safe now, right? My room is empty when I arrive a few moments later. Classes are in session, so I don't expect Rayla to return until evening. I flop onto my bed and immediately drift off to sleep again. I'm awoken by the sound of light rapping on my door. What time is it? Classes are still in session, so it must be the headmaster. I amble over to the door and swing it open, expecting to see the headmaster standing there. However, I'm surprised to see Arian standing in the doorway, a look of concern etched on his handsome face. Arian, what are you doing here? Don't you have classes? It's nothing I can't miss. Seeing you is far more important. Arian's voice sounds a bit strained. I notice he doesn't touch me as he enters my room, merely steps inside and closes the door behind him. He looks at me, his eyes searching mine. Are you feeling better? Better than yesterday. Good. He moves closer, his fingers reaching out and pulling me closer. Then he leans forward and places a quick kiss on my forehead. The healer would not let anyone in to see you yesterday. It took all my restraint not to break down the door. You? Thinking of breaking the rules? I'm shocked. My tone is teasing, but I feel a prickle of anxiety at his words. Could it really take so little for him to lose control? No, don't think like that. Arian is not evil. I'm sorry about what happened. I should have been there to protect you. No, you couldn't have prevented it. No one could have. The thing is, this shadow, it was strong and fast. It was a shade. That's right, that was part of the conversation I overheard in the healer's room yesterday. The headmaster thinks the thing that attacked me is a shade. I've not yet had a chance to read up on what exactly a shade is. What kind of creature is a shade? Well, they were once living creatures, then something changed them, dark magic usually. The change is permanent and cannot be reversed, but shades can be controlled. And this shade is being controlled by someone? Correct. The shade appears to have been captured, and whoever's controlling it wants to use its powers to hurt you. But why? We don't know yet, but we will soon. Arian's expression darkens, and I know he's thinking about Dex, locked up somewhere in the school, waiting to be questioned by authorities. Thank you for coming to check on me. Of course. You came to visit me in my time of need, after all. I pull him into my arms, hugging him tightly. His hands rest lightly on my waist, stroking my body softly. I lean my head against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Can you stay for a while? Yes. He draws me closer, his lips pressing gently to mine. I wrap my arm around his neck, pulling him into my embrace. We stay like this until the sunlight begins to fade outside, and finally, reluctantly, he exits the room and I return to sleep. Guess Rayla didn't come in any of that time. Are you sure you want to go back to classes today? The headmaster told you could rest till Monday. If I stay in bed all day, I'll just keep thinking about what happened. I need a distraction. I can think of way better distractions than sitting in class all day. Come on, let's go. Returning to classes proves to be more exhausting than I planned. I'm stopped by nearly everyone I see, all asking about the attack. It seems the word about Dex being detained has already spread. Everyone seems to be certain that Dex is guilty, but I'm feeling a bit uneasy. Rayla has insisted on walking me to class so she can play defense, rushing me through the hallways like she's my personal bodyguard. No questions, please. We've got to get to class. Move out of the way. When we reach the classroom, I slump into my seat. Rayla hovers near me. Do you want me to meet you after class to walk you back to our room? No, you've done enough. I'll be okay. You sure? I don't mind knocking out a nosy student or two. I'm sure. Thank you, Rayla. Anything for you, kid. As soon as Rayla's gone, I sit down in my normal spot, trying and failing to ignore the whispers and eyes turning in my direction. When the headmaster arrives, the students immediately quiet down, giving him their full attention. I'm thankful their scrutiny is now on him rather than me. I know you all have questions about what transpired here this week, and I'd like to take the time to clear everything up before the Sarenville rumor mill loses control. There's a ripple of whispers amongst the class, clearly excited to be getting the inside scoop. A shade was spotted in the school and attacked a student. I can actually feel the eyes in the room return to me. Professor Balin might be tactful enough not to mention me by name, but everyone knows which student was in the library when the shade attacked. Something like that can never be hidden from a throng of gossip-loving students. But I don't want anyone to panic. I have banished the shade and we have launched an investigation into the culprit that summoned it. Again, he does not mention Dex by name, but everyone here is aware he is the current suspect. With this in mind, I'd like to focus today's lesson on mental defense. It is important to be aware of creatures out there that will prey on your mind. A shade uses fear to attack its victims. It can make you see things that are not there. It can cause you to feel as if you can't breathe. The memory of the shade choking the air out of me sends shivers down my spine. There is no one true method to fight off a shade, but you can lessen its effects with a strong mental defense. The headmaster continues with his lecture, but as he goes over different approaches to protect the mind, I find that these defenses would not have helped me much. The shade could have killed me, but something caused it to end its attack before it was done. Was it called off by whoever controlled it? I'm not sure I'll ever know. But knowing that the shade has been banished means I can relax a bit. For now. Time for today's elective. Okay, symbology. Today we focus more on learning some of the common symbols and their meanings. I guess some of my stuff did not happen. I lost an elective. What should I do today? Alright, check our profile. Maybe we work on some of... Maybe... Power, control... Quickness is still pretty low. Control is pretty low. Insight's pretty low as well. Let's see. Let's go here. That would be insight. Do we want insight? That's, I mean, it's not the lowest. This is low, that's low. But that's pretty low as well. I guess let's do insight. They say you can learn a lot about people by simply observing them. At least that's what I tell myself as I settle into one of the cozy tables along the edge of the school's cafe. There are a lot of people in the cafe on the weekend. Most students are simply gathered around tables talking, but there are plenty that are studying here as well. Not sure how they can concentrate with all the noise and activity going on, but to each their own. I take my time sipping from my cup of coffee as I observe my fellow classmates. They're a diverse group. Some are sitting on their own while others join up with friends for conversation. The more I watch, the more I realize just how many interesting individuals make up Sarenville's student body. Maybe you can learn something about someone just by watching them. +2. Awesome. There's a small crowd gathered in the common room, and I see Mary, an IELTS student I've seen around. She's opening a small, ornately wrapped box while students around her watch with interest. Oh, she's cute! What's going on? Oh, my mother just sent me a box of Miraculum candies. They're usually very expensive, so I wasn't expecting such a gift. What's so special about them? They give you a special magical boost. Each one has a different effect. Some will make you smarter, others will make you faster. Which one is which? That's the best part. It's completely random. You have no way of knowing until you eat them. That doesn't sound like the best part to me, but I suppose some people enjoy surprises. Mary takes out a candy from the box and unwraps it, revealing a black cube. I hope this one makes me stronger. She puts it in her mouth and chews. The room goes silent as we wait to see if anything happens. There's nothing for several seconds, then Mary closes her eyes. The entire group waits tensely. Then Mary opens her eyes again and smiles at us all. Her face glows slightly brighter than before. Whoa, I think it was a healing candy. I suddenly feel completely energized. Do you want to try one? Me? Yeah, you're new here, so consider this a welcome gift. Choose one. I take a look at the candies in the box. They're all wrapped in different styles of paper. Which one should I choose? Let's do sparkle paper. I select the one wrapped in sparkle paper and unwrap it carefully. Hesitantly, I take a bite. It tastes sweet, but also strange. There are flavors that I have never tasted before. A few moments later, my mind feels sharper, but not in a bookish way, more like I'm seeing things around me more clearly, noticing more details. Mary looks on with interest. Well, how do you feel? Great, like I could solve all the world's greatest mysteries. Whoa, that's one I've never gotten before. Amazing, I hope you enjoy the effects. Mary closes the box, leaving the surrounding students disappointed that she didn't share any with them. My insight went up. I just did insight too. Okay, so that jumped up pretty well. Okay, well, I guess this is where we're going to go ahead and end. We got through week 9 pretty quickly, so there's only 3 more weeks left. I'm thinking it's that professor, the one that's really interested in learning. I think it's him. That's who I think it is. But yeah, I guess that's going to be everything for this time, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!